Okay, guys, welcome back to another edition of Live Wire. Of course, I am your host, Jared Moore, and if you're a return viewer, you know the drill. You have a question, pop it in the chat. If this is your first time, you have a question, pop it in the chat. We'll try to get it asked. Tonight, we're going to be talking with Melissa Welch. She's with the Euchee Butterfly Farm, and we're going to be specifically talking about a financial literacy event they have coming up this weekend. But if you have any questions about the Euchee Butterfly Farm or anything like that, pop them in the chat and we'll ask them. Thanks so much for being on the program tonight, Melissa.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.
I guess to start off with, for anybody that's watching this and maybe they don't know what the Euchee Butterfly Farm is, could you kind of give them an overview of what it is and what the objective is with it?
Oh, absolutely. The Euchee Butterfly Farm is located right outside of Bixby. It's on an original 160-acre allotment in Tulsa County, which is very rare to have now. And Jane Breckenridge, our director, she developed the program, the farm, about 12 years ago. It's been a 12-year project. And carry on legacy of her great grandmother and who the original allotment was given to. And with this, Jane had applied for CA grants to be able to develop this program to help our citizens within the reservation through Natives Raising Natives is the particular grant that I work under, and we have operation of 6 other grants currently with the Euchee Butterfly Farm now that has grown in the past 12 years.
Now, are those what type of grants are those? Are those federal grants, state grants?
They are USDA grants on the federal level, that is open to anyone, not native and non-native as well, throughout the state of Oklahoma, not necessarily on the reservation. So it is a program that we definitely like to get the word out about.
Yeah, and for you guys watching this too, if you watch our live stream here and you want to see a more detailed history of the Euchee Butterfly Farm, we actually did a video on it last year at the conference that happened, I believe it was February 10th of this month. So if you go back in time to last year, you can find that on our channel. You search Euchee Butterfly Farm, it'll come up, and it has Miss Breckenridge talking about the history of her allotment land and all of that stuff. So the Euchee Butterfly Farm is kind of like become an area for people to go if they're environmentally conscious and things. Could you talk a little bit about the impact that monarch butterflies have on our environment and you guys' objectives with trying to bring them back?
Yes, absolutely. As everyone has mentioned in the news, that the monarch is endangered, there is a significant decline since 2012 of their population due to migration, lack of habitat, lack of host plant, which is milkweed for them, a lot of overgrazing, a lot of spraying of grasses, killing out that natural habitat. And it's very important and mission driven for the Euchee Butterfly Farm, that we want to be able to plant as much as we can of their host plant to provide that safe habitat for them and increase that population throughout their migration and throughout Oklahoma. I know several years ago, the numbers seemed to flatline. So it seemed to be possibly making an impact and change of their population. But as we are noticing now, we won't know an official number until about mid-March when we start seeing first migratory monarchs come through on an exact number. But as of right now, it's over 60% and it's declining on their population.
Wow, that's a big problem. So the Euchee Butterfly Farm, and if you guys don't know, you guys have classes about how to cultivate for butterflies and things. You have symposiums for it, but what else? What other things do you provide to the public? Like, do you go to the public to help them to give them training? Could you talk about a little bit of that work? Sure.
Yes, within the reservation, we actually provide seeds, soil, trays, and planting education on site, and as well as workshops at the farm for farmers to raise various species of butterflies as well as the monarchs. And with this particular grant, for every successful adult butterfly that is raised per native farmer, they actually get compensated for that. So
Wow.
basically, they just raise the host plant and the nectar plants for the particular butterflies, and we collect them and help them contribute to the pollinator population, and they get paid for it. So at no cost, just their time and their support and their effort for our
Awesome.
program.
Awesome. Yeah, we came out to the February 10th event, and one of the things my wife was talking to you about was that you guys have the ability to go even to people who maybe live in an apartment and all they have is a balcony and help them set up their balcony to try to do that. Could you, is that true or?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I personally have about 40 farmers that have they lack ground space, and
Mm-hmm.
so they just have a small porch area or a balcony or overlook, or within a community garden within their housing area. And so we have methods that they can actually grow a significant amount of host plant for particular butterflies in their area. For an example, I had a farmer in Wetumpka area that had maybe by a 12 by 3 foot space, maybe a little smaller, of um, an area to do host plants for butterflies. And at the end of that season, that particular farmer in that small of a space raised roughly 270 monarchs. And then I think it was right at 109 or 110 swallowtails last year at the end of the season. And that was just
Wow.
one individual farmer. And she did an amazing job. And that was her first year being a butterfly farmer for us.
So if somebody's watching this and they maybe want to get the seeds or the education and everything, what should they do? Should they go to your website and call the number there, or how do they set up an appointment? I guess is what I'm asking.
Right now, we are in transition with our contacts. Myself as a community coordinator, as well as my counterpart, Monique Field, who's also a community coordinator, they can contact us. The information is on the flyer for the financial aid
Okay.
or financial literacy workshop. Our information is at the bottom, our phone numbers, emails. They can contact us through that or attend one of our workshops just so they can get a feel of what our mission is in the environment and meet other farmers as well, um, to kind of have some questions and ideas and just have that support for each other.
Awesome. And I want to remind you guys, I don't see any questions, but if you have a question, pop it into the chat. And you mentioned the flyer. It kind of brings us back around to the financial literacy workshop that you guys are having on Saturday. Guys, there's a link to that flyer in the description of this video. There's also a link to, if you want to pre-register to attend, there's a link for that in there. And we also have a link to the Euchee Butterfly Farm's website in the description of this video. So any of those things, you can click them. But what is the financial literacy workshop you guys are putting on?
This particular workshop is focusing on budgeting for and credit, working on your credit as well. And this is free education for anyone, even outside of the reservation, with this particular workshop. And also with this, we have a representative from the Tinker Federal Credit Union, Tina Herndon, who will be speaking about financial aspects of budgeting, saving, as well as credit. But we also have a local conservation district coming with the NRCS and USDA representative to speak about loans and grants with the USDA, similar to what Jane Breckenridge had used to be able to develop the farm there outside of Bixby. Also, they'll cover what particular area. You don't have to have an abundance of acreage or anything regarding that in order to qualify for those particular loans and grants that are available for our citizens. Most of these programs, a lot do not know exist. I did not know 6 years ago that this was available for myself as a citizen. And so we want to provide that education to our everyone. Again, like I mentioned, even off the reservation, in certain areas. And say you do live in town, or say you do live in an apartment area, there are other programs that can help provide financial assistance for certain grow lights, or a different type of particular raised bed setup to help you be more successful in butterfly raising. And that is what the USDA, NRCS, also those programs are for many reasons, water quality. But there are lots of programs that we'd like to give that information out to everyone.
Awesome. And, I kind of made a mistake earlier. I should have asked you, are you a Creek citizen, or what is your tribal affiliation, if you don't mind me asking?
Mvskoke Creek, and I'm also Cherokee as well.
All right, great. I normally do that at the start of the program, but it went right over my head. We've had some questions pop up here. TY Prol asks, are you familiar with community-supported agriculture grants, and do you facilitate navigating that process?
Yes, we actually we work very closely with FSA, NRCS, USDA representatives weekly, sometimes daily, on being able to accomplish goals for communities, like community garden development. We've had outreach from actually the Okmulgee area for a community garden, as well as Okemah, the city of Okemah, wanting us to do plant restoration and do a community garden and partnering together. So we definitely have contacts that we can provide to anyone, and that is their service. Their service is to help individuals with conservation and growth in their community. And we definitely can give you some names for that.
Awesome. And I should also ask, is there tickets to this event? Is there cost to it, or is it free to the public?
It is free to all natives living within the reservation, and also we are trying to extend out off the reservation. We've had some because the USDA programs and RCS programs are open throughout the state of Oklahoma, and of course now. So this is definitely a great workshop to attend to get some of that information.
Absolutely.
And I know life happens, but we also, our contact information is down below on the flyer. You can contact us anytime for more information, and we'll have continuous workshops as well.
Awesome.
And information with you all.
Great. We've had another question pop up here. TY Prol asks, do you do any work with the Mvskoke Nation Conservation District Grant Department to identify and pursue available resources?
Absolutely. We work really closely with actually the Conservation District for Mvskoke Nation, Julie Norum. She is actually one of our butterfly farmers, and I see her pretty much once a week, as well as her staff within the department. And we work with environmental as well right next door. We try to work together so that we can cover all areas. And so maybe conservation has some questions about more financial aid to provide for their particular clients that we've not reached out to yet, and vice versa. So we want to collaborate with as many departments as we can to support our nation and our tribe.
Awesome. And one of the other things we haven't talked about yet that I do want to point out to the audience, if you are in Tulsa or you're close to Leonard, you should really go by and check the farm out when they have one of these events that's open to the public. Or if you go to their website, you can schedule a time to go out there, I think. Isn't that right?
You can. It's very, right now, again, as community coordinators, you can reach any of us. It's probably easier to do that directly and be able to email us about that.
Well, I wanted to mention that you should go check it out, because you guys have like a big room that's just full of butterflies, and all the life stages of the butterflies, from the pupa all the way to the finished butterflies, and it's warm and they just fly around. It's something that kids, when they go in there, their eyes just light up. The butterflies sometimes will land on you. If you check out the video we did last year, there's a whole lot of footage of the butterflies. It's great. So we've had some more questions pop up here. I think he's asking me. Let's see. TY Prohl asks, are you familiar with indigenous microorganisms, mycelium, and the soil's living biome? Are you offering any resources toward this? Do you compost? And then he's asking me, Jared, do you compost? And I myself am not a gardener. My wife is, and yes, she does compost. So, but on those earlier questions, indigenous microorganisms, mycelium, and the soil's living biome. Do you offer any resources towards that?
Yes, we do. We actually have a partnering grant, Tribal Alliance for Pollinators, and our botanist, Brandon Gibson. I believe he's been on and interviewed previously before through few of our conferences, as well as Colin Spriggs, who is another community coordinator for that particular grant. They go in more in depth with that particular concern and questions. They're very, they have a broad spectrum on regarding that and what to do to assist with those microorganisms.
T.Y. Prohl asks, ever thought about expanding into beekeeping?
Absolutely. This is something we've discussed several times. Jane is very interested in wanting to discuss that. We actually have a speaker who comes quite frequently with our Tribal Alliance for Pollinator conferences, and they have a Facebook page as well. And Dr. William Hung, he is amazing. He knows so much about bees, and he actually will be coming in April. I do not have the exact date at this time, to the TAP conference, and that would be a great experience for anyone interested in beekeeping as well.
All right. T.Y. Prohl's got another question. What milkweeds should be avoided through spring when buying plants at the herb shows? So is there any milkweeds that are no good for the butterflies, I guess is what he's asking?
Any milkweed is good. The only thing that is a concern with buying from nurseries or any particular area from a wholesale is you do not know what is on that product. You don't know if they have some sort of pesticide, if there's other bacteria or disease that can affect the monarchs. Now you can bleach and wash the milkweed. You clean their food every time before you feed them. So that is a concern. The best ideal situation for planting milkweed is to plant from seed. And most do not know that you have to clean seeds before planting them. And we have workshops regarding that as well. But if anyone is interested, obviously, in any seeds, we can take care of you. We want the best milkweed and the best product for monarchs because they're already currently struggling.
All right. T.Y. Prohl's asking, could you get involved with the landscaping at Council Oak to improve the plantings? Are you familiar with that situation? All right.
I've watched yes.
Okay.
And yeah, we would love to reach out and get together and partner and get that going. I visited myself doing outreach various areas with the Mvskoke Nation and the landscape, and every time I pull up I think, okay, we can plant this here, we can plant this here. That would be wonderful.
Awesome.
So yeah, absolutely, would love to do that.
Well, I think you know what I'll do is after we get done here, guys, I will send an email to you with the contact info for Chris McCabe, who is the president of the Riverview Neighborhood Association, and they're kind of like the neighborhood that's trying to spearhead getting that stuff revitalized. And maybe you guys maybe he'll put you on their committee, and then you could help with the plant side too, because I know that's one of the things they're looking for is more people who have horticulture experience, etc. They have an arborist for the tree, but the plant side, you guys, because that would be amazing if there was a mass of monarchs that would come through, Council Oak in the spring, it'd be beautiful. So.
Yes, absolutely. We would love that. And as well as back to Council Oak briefly, there is a beautiful, beautiful frame with butterflies, and those are butterflies that came from the Euchee Butterfly Farm there, and was designed by Colin Spriggs, as well as David Bulkin, who is also the director for the grounds of the farm. So it
Awesome.
is really.
I didn't know that. TY Pearl's had some questions pop up here. Do you recommend planting, I think he's got a typo here, planting plocks for pollinators? Does that sound right? Or planting plot for pollinators?
Lots possibly. Yes, it's very important to have, when you're wanting to increase pollinator activity and give them the right host plant and food, knowing what host plant that particular butterfly needs. Each butterfly has a different host plant, different favorite food. Um, but a lot is normally what we try to promote: the host plant, then right next to it, the nectar plant, in order for them, when they are adult butterflies, to have that drink and have that energy to migrate or to move on to the next station. So definitely grouping those, if that's what they mean, is in plots. A plot here of host plant, a plot here of nectar plants.
All right.
Absolutely.
TY Pearl is asking, what are good native plantings you recommend people try?
Absolutely milkweed, definitely. Green milkweed takes a little bit longer, has a longer root system with that. Anything fast growing, swamp milkweed, if you have a flooded area, it loves water, hence swamp. We have various species of milkweed. We actually have Tribal Alliance for Pollinators, focuses on seeds as well, and seed collection, proper seed collection. At the Euchee Butterfly Farm, we actually have the largest native seed bank in the state of Oklahoma, more or
Wow.
less than at this point. So we also do public plant sales. There will be in March. I can send those dates as well. But we we definitely want to promote any native plant. You can go to Tribal Alliance for Pollinators site, and they have a list of many native plants. And identifying them too. We have classes to identify those. I could go on all evening explaining a native plant that's important to our area, and it's just good to come to some of our education classes, and you can really we can really go in depth with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are a valuable resource. And I encourage anybody, if you're watching this and you're interested in saving the planet or at the minimum the monarchs, go to the Euchee Butterfly Farm. It'll change your life. And that's not an exaggeration, especially the butterfly room. So I guess we've covered the workshop and what you guys do at the Euchee Butterfly Farm. We know you guys have the thing going on this weekend on the 24th. What's coming up after that? Do you guys have like a list of events you could kind of rattle off for people if they want to go to, and where would they go to get more information? Do they need to go to you guys' website, or is it just something where you're like going to disseminate it on Facebook?
Pretty much Facebook share, or through you all, and also to the Mvskoke Nation page. Tribal Alliance for Pollinators, you can also message them on Facebook. You can message the Euchee Butterfly Farm on Facebook as well. I've got requests on my personal page, which is totally fine. Any which way that I can communicate with citizens or anyone interested, I'm here to help. We all are here to help. We actually have grown to, I believe we have 9 employees now. Jane has the program has grown very much, and I'm thankful to be on this evening as well. Events that we have coming up, our big event would be in April 24th and 25th is a projected date for our TAP conference for the Tribal Alliance for Pollinators with our grant. But we will be scheduling the March 16th for another plant cultivation workshop regarding planting the right host plant, nectar plants for butterflies and pollinators. And then we're going to try to also make it a kind of a double header kind of thing. Try to cover financial literacy as well.
Awesome.
And break that whole day up, because everyone will already be in attendance, and we want to be able to get that information out to everyone.
Great. And another thing that occurred to me that we hadn't talked about, that we had talked about before, was the intern program. You were talking about the students and younger people coming to work on the farm. Could you talk a little bit about what that is and how that works?
Absolutely. As of right now, we have 6 positions open for summer youth. Our summer youth, we appreciate that program so very much. We actually have 2 um, particular employees who started out at the farm as summer youth, and now they are hired full time, and they are graduates from the Muskogee Creek Nation, our College of Muskogee Nation, and it's really awesome to have that. We also do have internship program where if you are a natural resource student, have a degree that you're interested in, contact myself, my counterpart Monique Field as a coordinator, or as well as Jane Breckenridge, to reach out to her and mention that you are interested in covering an internship program position, and we would like to get anyone involved with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to mention that because that I think would be one of the coolest summer youth situations you could possibly have, is to work on the butterfly farm, and then it turns into a job working with the butterflies, which, like, I want to stop doing this and go do that, honestly, if I could go back in time, because that seems like a dream. But well, thank you so much, Melissa, for being on the program. It's been great to talk to you, and keep us updated with anything that's happening in the future with you guys. We longtime viewers of the channel, you'll know that we always, every year, touch base with the Euchee Butterfly Farm. We go out and do a story and everything. And I wanted to have you guys on the live wire to also, get this audience in touch with the resources that you guys have that are great. And we still got questions popping up in there, but I'm going to wrap it for today because we're about at 27 minutes, and 30 is normally where we wrap. So I do want to thank you, Mado, for coming on the program, and I want to thank all you guys out there for watching tonight. I don't have any live wires scheduled for the future. There's probably going to be a lawyered up sometime next week. So if you're into the legal thing, keep an eye out for that. I haven't locked the day down because I'm waiting on some information. But with that being said, Mado and Melissa, and
Yep.
we'll see you guys later. Chihichath, Lise.